One-drop rule, America's most controversial and defining racial concepts. A concept rooted in America's complex racial past and present. And let's explore the AZ of this rule that has tainted African American history. But before we dive into today's video, take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on our upcoming videos. What is the one-drop rule? The one-drop rule was a legal and social principle in the United States, mainly in the 20th century, that determined someone's racial identity as a single drop of black blood makes a person black. According to this rule, if a person had any African ancestry, no matter how small or distant, they were considered black. This notion intertwined biology with law, categorizing individuals with any African ancestry as black, despite their appearance or lineage. In the early days of America, different races were mixed. This happened a lot between workers who were serving time for their passage to America and African slaves. In 1675, there was a big revolt called Bacon's Rebellion, where black and white workers teamed up against the powerful white leaders who were controlling them. Unfortunately, they lost. After this rebellion, to stop such uprisings in the future, the leaders came up with an early version of the one-drop rule. This rule started to change society from one based on class, how much money you have, to one based on race, the color of your skin. This way, even if a white person wasn't rich or powerful, they could still feel better than someone who was black. Powers switched. Originating in the slavery era, the rule aimed to maintain a clear and tyrannical racial hierarchy. It emerged from colonial powers' attempts to deal with the mixed offspring of European settlers and African slaves, ensuring that the children followed the social status of the enslaved mother, not the white father. Legal and social impacts. This notion became part of the legal system in various U.S. states during the early 20th century. It was tied to the idea of invisible blackness, a concept that emerged from the complex racial history of the South, which included strict racial segregation and the solidification of slavery as a fixed racial caste. Before the one-drop rule was deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 1967, through the Loving versus Virginia case, it played a significant role in preventing marriages between races and supported the system of white supremacy by denying rights and equal opportunities to those considered black. Plus, anyone who was seen as having any African background was grouped into the category of being black. These laws stood until the civil rights movement worked to end them. Legally, this rule enforced racial purity and segregation, excluding those with any black ancestry from the privileges of whiteness. Socially, it fueled colorism and division, affecting relationships within and between racial communities. In places like New Orleans, the one-drop rule created complex social strata, where light-skinned Creoles sometimes occupied a buffer class between black and white. Yet, this rule also contributed to widespread colorism, valuing proximity to whiteness. Thomas Jefferson, a U.S. president, is widely believed to have fathered 6 mixed-race children with his slave, Sally Hemings. Despite their mostly European ancestry, these children were considered black and were enslaved from birth due to their mother's status, highlighting the rigid application of maternal lineage in determining race. As adults, some of these children passed into white society, losing their black heritage and public identity. The legal codification of racial segregation in the southern states after Reconstruction resisted defining race by law to some extent to avoid complicating the social order. However, the one-drop rule eventually became law from 1910 in Tennessee and spread to other states, enforcing a strict division between black and white Americans, erasing the complex identities of many people of mixed heritage. Contemporary relevance. This one-drop rule was a big part of defining who was a slave. These laws stood until the civil rights movement worked to end them. However, the one-drop rule didn't just disappear. It transformed and played a part in how people see different races today, especially in politics and discussions about equality. The controversies around figures like the Duke and Duchess of Sussex reveal ongoing struggles with racial identity and classification. While more people today embrace a biracial or multiracial identity, societal perceptions often still reflect the historical weight of the one-drop rule, especially within communities that were most affected by its enforcement. And it's up to you how you see the one-drop rule. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get insights on issues that matter.